Investigates.
For nearly a decade, the natural gas industry has promised and delivered thousands of jobs to western Pennsylvania residents. But Action News Investigates has learned more and more of those jobs are now going to workers from out of state.
And investigative reporter Paul Van Oslo uncovered it's not just impacting local workers, but taxpayers too.
That's right. For many local laborers, the Marcellus Shale gas boom has meant steady work and fat paychecks. But now, as the gas market weakens, Action News Investigates has found multiple cases where out-of-state contractors and out-of-state workers are replacing locals. The MarkWest gas processing plant near Evans City is a massive project employing more than 500 workers. Laborers, electricians, pipe fitters, and iron workers. At the end of the day, the workers take a bus to the employee parking lot. Action News Investigates was there on 2 days when workers left the lot after their shift ended. We saw cars from Texas, Wyoming, Kentucky, Georgia, North Carolina, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and other states, but only a handful from Pennsylvania. These workers in a truck from California ended up at the Comfort Inn in Cranberry. These men in a van from Kentucky went to the Motel 6 in Cranberry, where many of the workers are staying. The influx of out-of-state workers began in June when MarkWest brought in a non-union contractor, Bilfinger Westcon of North Dakota. That company replaced Chapman Corporation of Washington, PA, a union contractor employing mainly local workers, including these 3 men who lost their jobs.
I'm not ready to retire yet. I want to be able to go back to work and in the gas industry.
Paul Meyer and Brad Radovich went all the way to Delaware to find work, but that job ended after just a few weeks.
When you travel a half an hour to work and then when you got to drive 300 miles to go, it's a big difference. It'll eat at you. It'll make you angry.
I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my house. It's hard paying bills and not working.
They say the gas industry has given them steady jobs and good paychecks, but they are angry to see their jobs going to people from out of state.
It's a hard pill to swallow. The gas is here. We should be doing the work. Not Texas, not Arizona, not Louisiana. Pennsylvania should be doing the work.
I'm sympathetic, and on the other hand, I'm very overjoyed that I'm here working, you know.
Bilfinger Westcon project manager Matt Nishadka is from Elk County, PA, but he's been on the road for 12 years. He acknowledges 70 to 80% of the company's workforce in Butler County is from outside the tri-state area.
Sure, you could hire the local guys, you're going to help those 300 guys. But when we come into town, we're bringing 500 people and helping the entire community. Now everybody's shopping at the stores, everybody's staying at the hotels, everybody's eating at the restaurants.
But Carnegie Mellon economist Robert Strauss says out-of-town workers do not really have that much impact on the local economy.
They're not going to be spending that much, and they're going to be sending money back home to Houston or Dallas or where their families are. If people are laid off, that costs you money. You've got unemployment to cover, and your social service demands will go up.
In a statement, MarkWest says it has invested several billions in capital across various regional infrastructure projects to serve its customers and continues to do so. Taken together, these ongoing investments and associated contracts have resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars for regional union contractors. Action News Investigates found the MarkWest plant is not the only one in the region that has gone outside the region to find most of its workers. These workers are protesting here at this compressor station construction site in eastern Ohio because they've been unable to get jobs here. Many of them have worked in the gas industry for years, but lately they say they've been replaced by workers from out of state. Action News Investigates was there when the workers confronted officials of Spectra Energy, which is building the plant.
These are all guys right here that are from the area that are unemployed right now. We'd just kind of like to get them guys back to work. They've done this work for so long. It's just a shame that you know, it's going to people that aren't from this area.
Understandable.
One Spectra official explained why they did not hire more locals.
People that we did hire locally did not pass drug tests.
You could probably ask just about anywhere that these guys have worked, they've all passed drug tests.
How many guys here have taken a drug test in the last 4 months?
Company officials told the men they were not hiring because the plant was almost finished, but they have other projects in the works.
Will you consider hiring us in the future?
It's not our decision.
The local workers walked away feeling frustrated and angry.
We have trained local workers here that deserve that work. You know, we're the ones that live here. We should be allowed to work here.
That's getting harder as the price of natural gas plummets. Strauss of CMU says energy companies are cutting costs anywhere they can.
That cost consciousness means that they're going to try to move from union to non-union labor, and it's only going to persist as long as the price of gas is low.
Paul Meyer worries he will have to go back on the road to find work, keeping him away from the grandson he and his wife are raising. But he says he does not have a choice.
I don't think it's fair to the people in Pennsylvania that this is going on.
A Mark West spokesman told me 3/4 of the company's projects in the region during the past 2 years have gone to union contractors. A spokesman for Spectra Energy says it held 2 job fairs for its Ohio compressor plant project, but the company did not tell me how many of those jobs were taken by local residents or out-of-state workers.
You got to feel for these guys, too.
Yeah, they've had good work for years, and now they're struggling.
Great jobs.
Yep.
Paul, thanks.
Sure.